This is terrorism, and this is a hate crime. Stop killing us.
Huh? Huh? Yeah. Melon.
Oh no, backward.
The coalition of color, my brother, rock your crown. I'm here to show you the power inside the color brown. Now's the time to open up your mind to what they tried to hide from the real royalty. Open up your chakra from your brain to your feet and really realize what's inside and believe. Got God on my side and I ride with the queen. As we travel on this journey, I'ma show you what I mean when you open up your eyes. When you know what your worth is, never no surprise. Spirit of the sun, navigating stars. Times are getting better when you feel them getting hard like.
What's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Coalition of Color. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Justin.
And I'm Dominique.
And we use this channel as a community platform to have conversations that unite, educate, develop, and advance the melanated millennials here in America.
Okay, so guys, this week has been absolutely insane with all of the violence in America. I mean, we were actually in preparation of talking about Meghan Markle, and then we wanted to talk about the talk and what happened with Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood, which was insane, but all of this happened with the violence in America, and we felt like we had to go straight to this first, and maybe come back to the racism in America a little later, because we know that's not going nowhere.
I was about to say, but that's very similar to these mass shootings.
It is.
It's not going anywhere.
Yes, agreed. And one of the mass shootings, which was the Asian massage parlor shooting in Atlanta, Georgia, which killed 8 people. 6 of them were Asians, because the mass killer went to different Asian parlors and killed people at each Asian parlor that he went to. So to say that this was not an Asian-related hate crime is just disrespectful to the Asian community as a whole, because clearly they were targeting the Asian community.
And even if you go with the story that he was saying, it was about the sexual addiction to them.
He made indicators that he has some issues, potentially sexual addiction, and may have frequented some of these places.
I mean, that's still attacking specifically the Asian community, who we have this historical belief of the geishas, like still now every Asian massage parlor would be doing this geisha type thing when that's how geishas originated. That's not what they are today.
Right. And furthermore, even on that account, I was looking at it from the point of just a female issue. So you're having a sexual addiction problem, and you decide to, let's take race out of it. If they want to say it's not a racial hate crime, right? Let's take race out of it. Now you're making it a female issue. These are all female victims that you've killed and mauled down because you, sir, have a problem. Unacceptable. That's crazy. To act like this is not an Asian hate crime is reprehensible, right? Asian crimes rose 150% over last year after constant pointing out of the China virus, right? Making coronavirus the China virus from Trump and anybody associated Trump, which is absolutely insane to me.
When I see targeted communities involved in hate crimes like Muslims and now Asians
and Mexicans,
you're right about that. It makes me think about how just a few decades ago, and still today with police brutality, how unarmed blacks and browns, or anybody with color basically, are mauled down in the streets as compared to our white counterparts.
Good point. For example, how about the way a black man with a gun is treated versus how a white man with a gun is treated? Just the humanity of it all. We all remember that test, and I reference it a lot, but we all remember that test where a black man walked down the street on the same time of day with the same cops on the beat, with the same type of gun as his white counterpart shortly after, and was treated completely different in 2 different ways.
How you doing, sir?
Hey.
Howdy.
Can I see your IDs?
Sir, no.
Why not?
You guys don't have to. I'm not doing any crime.
Any particular reason why you're carrying the ARs?
I'm just exercising my
I
right.
understand that, but is it...
He pulled out the gun. The guy, he's just walking up and carrying.
I do not consent to any search and seizure of my property. If it's an AR-15, I'm not.
They're taking his weapon.
I think this is a wake-up call. You know, some white people will never accept colored Americans as Americans, and it's unfortunate. However, together, we can combat any type of injustice to any community of color if we just stick together, right? When there's an injustice to the Asian community, we need to stick together, and we all need to be outraged. Right now, black people need to be outraged. Like, Asian people should have been outraged during the George Floyd incident, right? Or during the shooting, the mass shooting in that Baptist church. You know, we should all have been extremely vocal about the shooting in the synagogue, right? Like, we should be vocal about these racially targeted shootings because it's unacceptable. Any type of racial targeted hate, we should all condemn it. I feel that way strongly.
But I just want to take it a step further. It doesn't even have to be about race. It can be about the gender. Anytime there's a bias that's involved. I mean, like, let's be real. We shouldn't be shooting each other anyway. But I mean,
we're gonna get there.
Unless somebody did something wrong to you, you know what I'm saying? But like, what you're doing is you're saying, because I think this way about this particular person who I've had, because you only base this this ideology on your own experience. So this one
Your
person
ignorance.
or
lack of
what
experience.
you saw, right? Exactly. On TV, the way something was depicted, what your man told you this other dude did to him. You do all of that, and then you target and you project this on somebody who's completely different. You know, just because they're the same color or the same sex or the same race, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean that they're the same as what was in your experience or lack of.
Agreed. I feel like it's the ignorance, and sorry, but I feel like the media, the general media on TV, like maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago even, I blame them specifically because you think about how we used to think about Africa. Okay? Think about the only images you saw about Africa on TV, the little kid with the little fly on his head, you know, feed a child for 10 cents a day type of thing.
Yep.
You're like, come on.
Yep.
I think it's about ignorance and just expanding your mindset to other people and just being open to seeing how other people live. You'll see that they don't live very different from you. They're not very different from you at all.
Right. Some Asians spoke out on Twitter and other social media platforms.
This is terrorism, and this is a hate crime. Stop killing us.
So with that statement that this is terrorism, you got to look at it kind of like America treats terrorism, right? 9/11 happened, and America came together. New York came together first. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian. It didn't matter. They came together. They helped each other. And then when it came to going to fight the war and this, that, and the other, it did not matter who was standing next to those soldiers, right? Because we had an objective. So what we're trying to say here is if we all come together in these times, in these terroristic times, and we all come together and we fight it, I'm not saying physically or anything like that. I'm saying, you know, we fight it the same way that we cancel culture. We have these outcries on social media, and we stop participating in these cities functions, anything that's gonna put money in their pocket, period, until they stop. Like they say, it's a war on the money. You know, that's how we win this, basically. You know, in a non-violent way. Shout out to
everybody does it, everybody has to do it. White people, if you feel like, and Asian people, right? Because sometimes I feel like Asian people kind of sit on the sidelines, right? You're a minority group of color, you know, just like we are. So in our fight, we just ask that you fight with us.
And we'll fight with you.
And we'll fight with you. And white supporters, same thing. Mexicans, same thing. You wonder why you don't have a lot of black people talking about the border? We don't hear a lot of you guys talking about us getting shot in the street. The second mass shooting in the same week, this week, was in Boulder, Colorado. This was one suspect that was arrested. He killed 10 people, ages 20 to 65.
That encompasses who we think we're talking to right now.
Right.
That could be any one of us.
Right. A lot of them were in their 20s.
My heart goes out to the police officer that was killed,
For sure.
Eric Talley. He was a father of 7, and He had been on the department for 11 years. He was the first person to arrive on the scene. I don't want to take anything from that, but I just feel like I just want to mention that when it comes down to the reporting of this, I just feel like you said earlier, they're doing a lot of this was about Officer Talley, you know.
Vigil was held in Boulder last night to honor those who did not survive. That includes Officer Eric Talley, who died trying to stop the shooter.
He deserved the same amount of airtime as the 20-year-old, as the 65-year-old, as the mother, as the father, as the brother, as the sister, you know, everybody else who died there, you know.
Exactly. At least acknowledge them.
Right.
So if we could have a moment of silence for the people in total that died.
In a supermarket in Boulder, Colorado, in a supermarket called King Supers. I've never heard of it before.
Me neither.
Because the first reporting that I saw of it, it was in front of a Whole Foods.
It was,
and, you know, so
I wonder if Whole Foods had an issue with that.
I don't
thought
know.
it was Whole Foods.
Yeah, I did too, if I'm being honest with you.
The shooter was identified as a 21-year-old. His name was Ahmad Alyssa, and they said he suffered from mental illness, which is kind of on target, right? We need to deal with mental illness a little bit better in this country. That's another thing we don't deal with because we don't deal with healthcare correctly in this country. So it all goes down to, you know, this healthcare, these gun controls, and trying to do what's best for America. But
with the mental illness, he had the wherewithal to gear up. He had that. I'm not saying, I know. We are not making light of this. But, you know, even with the mental illness, has he been diagnosed? We don't even know. But if it's possible that he had a mental
illness,
whatever, he put on a tactical vest, grabbed an AR-15, which is a semi-automatic gun, and the police ended up having to make him strip down.
That's crazy.
They
Definitely had him stripped. I know you guys saw that footage. He was all bloody. I was wondering, well, what happened? Was it too hot? Did he take his clothes in? Like, he looked mentally ill because why are you naked? But
right.
Then you said it was a police thing.
Yeah,
So the police chief, basically, she got up there and she basically said, you know, I feel numb. This is heartbreaking. Right? Okay. Because she was talking specifically about the police officer, and I get it. The police officer died in the line of duty, but literally that is a risk that you do take when you sign up to be a police officer. When people sign up to be a grocery store bagger or a grocery store cashier, you don't sign up to be shot and mowed down. Yet one of those victims happened to be the grocery store cashier. I've been a cashier, and I couldn't imagine somebody coming in there and just mowing people down with a semi-automatic rifle. Like, to me, that is unfathomable. So to have something like that happen in such a public area, like a movie theater, like, it made me, like, remember when that happened?
Yep.
When people were watching Batman? I could not, because it's a Batman movie. I would probably think this is part of the movie. Somebody set something special up, or somebody's doing something special. Not thinking I'm about to die. Like, this is crazy in America. We have to get it together.
And the fact that the United States of America has not found a way to come together and solve this, you know, and I'm not saying, and I would love to hear how you think, but I'm not saying come together by saying take them all away or give them to everybody, you know, but I'm just saying you got the NRA who's fighting this. Something's got to be done.
In my opinion, I feel like guns don't belong in America. I feel like guns don't belong on the planet. Like, why do we have guns? Why do ordinary citizens, or even the police department, right? The military should have guns. And that is it, in my opinion. I feel like you create a law, right? You ratify or amend the Constitution, let me speak politically correct, and you change that Second Amendment to restricting guns, and you take everybody's gun away. Maybe you start out with giving money to get guns, right? You pay, government, you got the money, pay for the guns, right? We seen y'all get stimulus checks out. We want America to be a more safe place. So to do that, let's remove the deadly weapons that people are killing each other.
Gun drives, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, but it's not mandatory.
People come up and, well,
it's not a law.
So here's the thing: if you say that it's a law, and I don't go give it to get money back from it, or whatever the case may be, it's also a law that you can't come in my house and search illegally. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what are they gonna do? Go door to door? And
yes, they will get. My suggestion is that yes, you will obtain warrants for the parties that you think have guns. You go in, you get the gun.
Under those circumstances, what's stopping the racist police officer now from
planting,
getting the gun that he took from somebody else
and planting it?
Just now, under the law, all you got to do is just kill this black person and put the gun on him.
Let's sprinkle some crack on him and get out of here.
Okay, so here's the thing. Before we make any changes to laws, I feel like 101 is we gotta fix the police department, because the people that are protecting this country are flawed, like inherently flawed. You know what I mean? Like already, because you're racist, so you're inherently flawed for this job, in my opinion, right? Some. I'm not gonna say all.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's
not all.
The institution.
Yes, the
is flawed to be.
Ooh, good. The institution is flawed. So maybe you demolish the police department as a whole, and you start fresh with something else, like crime patrol, or I don't know, something more fancy. But you get what I'm saying. I'm sure the government can come up with some kind of acronym that is real fancy, smancy, or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think at the end all be all, because like we don't have the answers.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Obviously,
no,
we just
clearly.
try to talk it out, whatever the case may be. But there has to be some type of discussion that starts going on right now. I know I'm a gun owner. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I'm a little bit more. Let me say it on the camera. I'm a legal gun owner. You know what I'm saying?
I'm for legal gun ownership as well.
So that's why I have a little bit more push about, coming to take home and having to give it up, or whatever the case may be. I get that, but all of us responsible gun owners, along with, I'm not saying that you are, but people who are in opposition of owning guns, it's kind of like what we're asking for in Congress. We just got to have bipartisanship and figure out a way to do this, but we all have to identify that this has to stop.
Right, but it's not just the AR-15s, and that's my issue, right? You've got the .45 caliber, right? It's these military-style guns, whether it be a semi-automatic or just a simple handgun, where people feel that they can't control themselves, or they take the liberty of their law in their own hands and decide to take somebody's life. And I just feel like no human being in America should have that capability. Like, why do you right now have the capability to kill me? Like, without me fighting, like without me putting up a fight. If you want to kill me, I should at least have the same capabilities. Like, if you're gonna kill me with a knife, okay, I can fight you off, right? If you have a gun, there's no way I can fight you off.
Well, hold on. Okay, so this store in Boulder, right? If somebody ran in there and said, there's a guy outside assembling a gun, you know what I'm saying, and about
like
putting the gun together. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if they had a warning, you know what I'm saying? Nobody would have been in there standing around. Everybody would have been getting out there. So I'm just using that element of surprise, how they didn't know. The chances of you saying, if I wanted to intentionally kill you, like I'm not gonna show you I got the knife.
True.
I might walk up behind you and slit your neck, and you still don't have a chance. You see what I'm saying?
But you remember, I don't know which comedian it was, but they said something like, oh, somebody got 100 people got stabbed in a
Oh, yeah,
supermarket.
yeah. You'll never hear that. You'll never hear that. Yeah,
Listen.
it won't be a mass.
Exactly.
A mass
That's
scale.
all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
You might get the one
You could-
person.
Listen, if all right, 2 or 3, 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. I can't see how the third person watching is like,
I'm next.
you know, like that was the joke. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
But with a gun, I got bam, bam, bam. Oh, you coming too? Bam. And usually what they do is on the last one they off themselves, because you already know that nobody's gonna let you survive this, you know. And if you do, it'll be a very semi-decent life. I don't know.
You're right.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
I feel like I blame them
Who's fighting this, and yeah, it's just something's gotta be. What if this joint cheap and you can see the words scrolling up the screen? Oh man. Yeah. Well, goddamn.
Excuse me. Sorry, family.
All right. Bless you.
Thank you.